Hello, everyone, and welcome to XM Live Education. It is time that we have an interview, and together with me, I have one of our trading experts, Olu Bemi. So, first things first, hello, Olu. How are you doing this Friday
Hi,
morning?
Anna Maria. It's a pleasure to be with you today. First time we're having an interview together.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
very good. I'm very good. How are you as well?
I'm very good as well. Thank you for asking. It's a great opportunity to get finally a chance to talk with you a little bit. We know each other for quite some time, but we never had a chance to talk. So I would like to for this interview to because we do have a lot of new people tuning in the
Yeah.
chat room and a lot of new viewers. So I would like to give them the opportunity alongside with me to get to know you a little bit better. So why don't we start the interview by maybe giving us your views on the current situation in the market, and then we can proceed with other questions that have to do with you as a trader. So, where do things stand at the moment? We had the ECB decision yesterday. Is the market affected? Did you expect this decision, or it was, let's say, a surprise for you?
Okay. Well, I would say it wasn't a surprise because that looked a little bit priced in since last week. Everybody was expecting there was going to be an increase, 75 basis point, and that was what we had. So it met expectation, but I haven't really checked Euro USD this morning, but I was checking yesterday, and I saw that when the news, around the period that the news came out, we saw that just before the news, the result was out, we saw some movement because everybody was expecting, oh, this is going to move up. So we saw some movement, and USD, Euro USD got back to parity. But afterwards, before the end of day yesterday, it reduced a bit. And I think this money it has moved up again. All right. Okay. Yes, this
Hmm.
money moved up again because we saw some weakness in dollar, maybe because of the less hawkish speech that we had from Powell. So everybody started looking at USD getting weakened a bit, which I think is a well expected shedding of profits with the USD. USD has been really strong in the last couple of weeks. So it's a good thing that we are seeing a little bit of easing, which would help us at least find some good entry, even if the market structure is going to be going to continue in the uptrend direction for the USD. So this would give us opportunity to start getting good entry as it is
Hmm.
reducing right now. So I am feeling that it is because of this reduction in USD generally that is having this effect. But this morning we had some movement to the upside for Euro USD. So it was increased yesterday. It meets expectation. We also had earlier this week the Bank of Interest Rate decision. Just like the euro, it was also increased by 75 basis points, and that was a good one for Canada as well. But I think around the world generally, the inflation rate remains high, and because of that, almost every central bank, at least for the major currencies, we see that they are kind of tightening the policy. The only one that I would call the lone wolf right now is the yen. There hasn't
Yeah.
been any much increase in the interest. There hasn't been any change in interest rate decision. So that has made yen quite weak. We've seen huge move between the USD and yen, which I think the last time we are where we are now was 1998, some 24, 22 years ago, I think. So that
Whoa.
is having effect, yes, on that. GBP USD as well, we see this huge movement down that we've not been in the last, over 30 years. And to cap the market, we had the death of the Queen Elizabeth yesterday, and I've been looking, how is this going to
Yeah.
have effects on the market? I don't think it's going to have so much of effect because the market is affected by some huge uncertainty. That's what will make some big movements in the market, and having that may have some effect on the market, but I don't think it's going to, nothing so uncertain about the fact that she died and then she's going to be
Hmm.
succeeded by her son, and she died at a ripe age. So I don't
Yeah,
I don't feel
90
that
something.
96.
96.
Yes, so I don't think that's going to have any serious impact on the market unless maybe something comes up in between this. I read that there's going to be like some 12 days of mourning, and then somewhere around 2021, maybe a death be celebrated or so, and there's going to be a public holiday. Okay,
Uh,
so that's what we have. The Eurozone, the inflation rate is still way very high compared to the increase. So now we have 75 basis point increase. Last month we have 50% basis, sorry, 50 basis point increase, and now we're expecting that it's likely going to be increased again. Maybe this would make euro a little bit okay, but because of what is happening, the Ukraine war is still there. There's issues with gas importation, exportation, and all of that is still having effect on the eurozone. And so that's why I'm not expecting anything out of the ordinary with euro at this time, unless maybe there are some good changes that would make it continue to increase.
mhm. Well, that sounds really, really interesting. So we don't see any big movements in the market. We just wait and see what is going to happen in the next few days. Um, Actually, I was really curious about the same thing. If the pound is going to be affected after the death of Queen Elizabeth, but it's not right, as you said. It wasn't affected at all. It's still at the moment.
Yeah, it
Well,
hasn't been so much affected.
yeah.
I think what we are having this morning, the increase, is basically for most of them, it's just because of the weakness we see with dollar. And so that's why they are moving, because it's not just euro or British pound that has moved up this morning. Euro has moved, Aussie, USD has moved. All of them are moving. So even Bitcoin yesterday, I was still analyzing and I was thinking, oh, this is ready to push to the downside. But we saw some big moves today. That's one of the reasons why I usually tell traders that it is important to have, entry rules guiding your trade. You have setups that you follow so that you don't just jump in because something looks bearish. What we saw was some big movement to the upside afterwards, and I think that is also based on the weakness with dollar at this time. So I think that's what is affecting all of them. It isn't so much about the death of the coin that we're seeing a little bit of increase in British pound this month.
Yeah, well, that's actually a really good piece of advice that you just shared with the viewers.
Mhm.
Because if I understand correctly, are you more of a technical trader? Do you depend more on technicals or also fundamentals? Because we now see, for example, that the death of Queen Elizabeth is it's an event. It's something that
Yes.
happened, a
Mhm.
situation. So we can call that fundamental. And then we have the charts that are looking, you know, um, bullish. So that's totally technical. So here's my question: Are you a fundamental or a technical trader, or maybe both?
Okay, I think I would say both. I've always identify as a technical analyst, but I also very much understand that for you to, have a larger view of what is happening in the market, to really understand what is pushing the demand and supply of currencies of the different markets, you need to understand the fundamentals. So that's why sometimes I really don't understand when people start say, oh, technical is better, technical analysis is better, fundamental is better. It's important to understand both. Maybe as a very new trader in the market, you start with technical analysis, which is where I start from. Most of the time, if you ask me, I will say, oh, I'm a technical analyst. But then I try to have an idea what's happening in the economy. Because if you are looking at the big picture, you want to take a trade. Because for me, I do more swing trades. It's in
Hmm.
the recent time because of the so much of uncertainty that I moved a little bit to like short-term day trade, holding trades for like few days compared to weeks that I used to hold it before or even months. So I do more of swing trading, and because of that, I would want to have an idea of what's the big picture, what's behind this move I am seeing in the
Mm.
economy. That
Yeah.
way, I would decide: am I going to hold this for a long time, or is it something I want to cut short at, as soon as possible? So the chart is there. I like technical analysis a lot, but while I analyze the chart, I want to also allow my decision to be guided by what's happening in the economy. Unless maybe
Mhm.
like an economy like Japan, where there isn't much happening fundamentally. All right. So I know that if I'm seeing movement, it's usually based on the USD. You know, if the USD is strong against it, it will have effect. If the USD is weak, you would see some effect. So because there isn't much happening there, I may not bother so much. But there are other economies that a lot is happening fundamentally. So I look at what is happening, mostly before the beginning of the day, before I start making decision on the chart. I try to read the news, see what's happening with the major economy. That
Yeah.
way, it guides my decision. So I would say maybe a combo. I also like having an idea of sentimentals, what's happening sentimentally, and that way we have
Mhm.
because we have technical analysis, we have fundamental analysis and sentiment analysis. So being able to combine all of them, I think is actually a very good way of the broad looking the markets, like with a larger picture kind of.
Yeah, I think that everyone eventually is going to be affected by the fundamentals as long as someone opens the internet and reads a little bit. So I think that fundamentals are all around us, and it's difficult to just uh, forget about them. But of course, there are traders who prefer only a technical approach. That's the interesting thing in trading for me, that there's no right or wrong when it comes to traders. Um, both perspectives are right as long as you know how to properly trade during these
That's
times.
right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, Olu, unfortunately, we have passed our time for the
Yeah.
interview. I know that you have your upcoming session, and I should leave you prepared for it. I wish that we
Yeah.
could have a little bit more time to
My session, by
cook.
the way, is not the 5 minute time session. My session is still going to be in 1 hour. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So yes, so I have like 1 hour, 5 minutes in my session, and I'm going to be talking about trading in trending and ranging markets. We'll look at market structure, how to identify the structure of the market and trade it. That's what I'm going to be talking about in the class.
Okay. Well, you're gonna be live. Um, Yeah, not this hour, but the next hour in the beginner
Yes,
room. Okay,
that's right.
so yeah, you're absolutely right. Our interview was really, really interesting. Thank you for breaking down everything that happens in the current situation in the market.
Thank
It was
you.
really nice to finally have a chance and talk to you a little bit. I wish that we um, have more interviews in the following time. Who knows? So, have a great session, a great rest of the day, and have also a great weekend.
You too. Thank you so much, Anna Maria. Good to have a session with you today. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.